Hello and welcome to a little bonus episode of Best Case Scenario. This will be a follow-up to our previous episode where we did our little mock draft there. It was the first 15 picks, and now we're just going to do a little lightning round of the next picks in the first round, which is picks 16 through 32. I'll just be blowing through it, giving some brief stuff, just so I can get my picks out before the draft starts. So, let us enter the draft room. Let me just blow through the picks I already made. Alright, so we'll be kicking things off here with the New York Jets. And with the 16th pick, they will select wide receiver Jordan Tyson. Biggest bugaboo with Tyson is his injury history, and he has a plethora of an injury history. He has had exploding knees, hamstrings, collarbone. The guy he's been through the ringer. But I tell you what, he is a fantastic talent and was once looked at as wide receiver 1 in this draft before his injuries weighed him down. But, I just really think that if you're going to build towards the future and possibly towards a big quarterback wanting to go to the Jets, you want to get a good receiver core there, and if Jordan Tyson can stay on the field, excellent talent. Now, with the 17th overall pick, I have the Lions selecting Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. It's no secret, Lions really need some tackle help, and especially with the departure of Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow. This is going to be a great offensive tackle. People are very high on Freeling, depending on who you ask, and I think that at 17, it's fantastic value to get him there. Now, with the 18th overall pick, I had the Vikings selecting Dylan Tieneman, safety out of Oregon. This guy is a freak safety, kind of competing with Caleb Downs for the number 1 spot. To me, it's pretty clear who the number 1 guy is, but Dylan Tieneman is a freak safety. And with the departure of Harrison Smith in the offseason, I think you could really stand to get a great safety right next to Byron Murphy Jr. There are more pressing needs for the Vikings, like O-line, certainly running backs, but you're not going to address that here at pick 18. I think you just take best player available. It's going to be Tieneman. Now, with the 19th overall pick, the Panthers are going to select tight end Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq, there is one in every first round of a draft. This freak tight end prospect that's supposed to redefine a team's offense. And this year it's Kenyon Sadiq. Guy's an amazing tight end out of Oregon, and I think that the Panthers could really use some more help receiving-wise. You have Tet McMillan, fantastic talent. Xavier Legette, not really sure. Jalen Coker, not really sure. Tommy Tremble, not really sure. Bryce Young is getting better every single season, little by little. And I think that bringing in Kenyon Sadiq while the Panthers are on the up and up could really help them propel forward. Now, with the 20th overall pick, I have the Cowboys taking linebacker C.J. Allen. There was once a time where I was debating between Sonny Styles and C.J. Allen. But I think C.J. Allen is a fantastic talent, and he did it by himself. The knock against Styles is that he did it while being next to Arvell Reese. C.J. Allen was C.J. Allen, which isn't to say that, Georgia didn't have 2 linebackers, but C.J. Allen didn't have an Arvell Reese right next to him. He's an amazing linebacker, and once again, I think the Cowboys just need to focus on defense. So, bringing in C.J. Allen, I think he's a fantastic talent. With the 21st overall pick, I have the Steelers. They're going to go and do it. Quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama. This is being recorded on the 21st of April. If Aaron Rodgers re-signs with the Steelers between now and the draft, then this won't look very good. But the Steelers need a quarterback going into 2026. Right now it's between Will Howard and Mason Rudolph, and I don't think that's what Mike McCarthy intended or wanted to come into. And, you bring in Michael Pittman Jr. in the offseason, fantastic pickup right next to DK Metcalf. For who? For them? For Howard or Rudolph? I don't think so. I think that they're being brought in to develop a new quarterback. I think Ty Simpson, probably not a plug-and-play kind of guy that's going to take off, hit the ground running. That tape in the playoffs against Miami kind of really turned off a lot of people, but the the God-given powers, the body, the throw, the deep ball, it's all there. And I think that Ty Simpson, given the right environment, could thrive. Now, the issue is that we don't really know Ty Simpson's value. We have no idea what it really is going into the draft. You know, if you're on the Dan Orlovsky train of thought, you might think he's going top 10 in the draft. But I really think that 21, maybe out of FOMO, might as well go ahead and pick him up. Now, the 22nd overall pick, I have the Chargers selecting Omar Cooper, wide receiver out of Indiana. I like Ladd McConkey. I kind of like Quentin Johnston. But I think the Chargers could really benefit from bringing in a true third. We don't really know what we're going to see out of wide receiver Trey Harris, the sophomore out of Ole Miss. But I think that Omar Cooper is going to be a great talent. You do lose Keenan Allen in the offseason, even though his career was kind of already packed up and ready to go. But I think Herbert really needs a lot of help. I'm really worried about Herbert. He might not be a Charger in 2027 at this rate, so it could really stand to use some more wide receiver help. With the 23rd overall pick, I have the Eagles selecting edge rusher Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. Keldrick Falk is a size prospect. He's a size and muscle prospect. His technique isn't really on par with those like David Bailey, Ruben Bain, but the physical tools are they're tantalizing. If developed correctly, he could be one of the greatest players of our generation. And I'm sure we've all heard that before many, many times, and very rarely does it work out. But Eagles would be a team to go and do it. You know, losing Jalen Phillips, losing Nakobe Dean, Josh Uche, and not really bringing in people to replace them. You know, you bring in Arnold Ebekete, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I could tell you, JTS might not even be on the 52-man roster come playing time. But I think that bringing in Keldrick Falk, he's kind of slipped a little bit at 23. It's not a bad pickup for the Eagles. They could use some help. With the 24th overall pick, I have the Browns going with offensive tackle Caden Proctor out of Alabama. Once again, a lot like Falk, size and muscle prospect. Technique's not really up there with the top guys, but the guy is a massive offensive tackle. And again, if developed right, could be the greatest offensive tackle of our generation. And regardless, Browns really need help at offensive tackle. Whoever it is, whether it's Lomu or Miller. But I think Proctor, nice experimental guy. You know, Browns aren't doing anything for the next 5 years, so might as well give it a shot. 25th overall pick, I have the Bears selecting defensive tackle Peter Woods. Peter Woods is being looked at as the best defensive tackle prospect in this draft. And I think that's where the Bears really struggled the most. They could not stop the run to save their lives. They were allowing 5 yards per carry, ranked 29th in the league, and allowing 27th in the league in rush yards allowed total. I think that bringing in a true, trenches guy, that's what you need to focus on. And after the offseason that they had, losing DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmonds, Nashawn Wright, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, CJ GJ, you just need to bring in the best defensive guy you can. And I think that Peter Woods is going to be that guy. Number 26 pick, I have Buffalo taking Casey Concepcion. I think that obviously you bring in DJ Moore, great prospect, great player to bring in. But after DJ Moore, the fall off is real. You're left with Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. So I think that you really want to bring in great wide receiver, and I think that Casey Concepcion, he's going to be that guy. I think he would fit in great in Buffalo. 27th pick, I have the 49ers taking offensive tackle Caleb Lomu. Now, obviously, Trent Williams has been extended very recently, but he's very old, and the rest of the 49ers O-line is just not up to par. I think you need to bring in a right tackle opposite Trent Williams, and I think that Caleb Lomu would absolutely be a great fit there. 28th pick, the Houston Texans. I have the Texans selecting defensive lineman Caden McDonald. Great defensive lineman prospect, right up there with Peter Woods. Their defense is amazing. Like, I think that the Texans could really make a deep run in the playoffs this year if CJ Stroud just plays like CJ Stroud has played in the past. The talent is there. And their defense is maybe my favorite defense in the NFL. They did just recently extend Will Anderson Jr., massive historic extension. They also extended Danielle Hunter on a 1-year massive deal. But I think in the defensive tackle region, you could get some more star power. If we look at who they have right now, in between Anderson and Hunter, it's Sheldon Rankins and Tommy Togiai. Sheldon Rankins is a little bit older. Tommy Togiai, I don't know who that is. So I think that bringing in Caden McDonald would really help. You know, Logan Hall is there, but I'll tell you right now, Logan Hall never did anything for the Buccaneers. I don't know if he's going to be the guy in Houston. So with the 29th overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to select edge rusher Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. They really need some pass rush help in Kansas City. The days of Chris Jones being a one-man wrecking crew are just not there anymore. And George Karlaftis is, he's fine. But I think you really need to bring in a fresh pass rusher for Spagnuolo to work with. Now, with the 30th overall pick, Miami Dolphins are going to select Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety out of Toledo. Again, with the Dolphins, you really just need to take best player available. And especially after you let go of Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey, you really need to pick up a new safety. And Emmanuel McNeil-Warren could absolutely be that guy. Doesn't really matter who you pick because the Dolphins need everything. So I think that bringing in McNeil-Warren, bringing a wide receiver in Mekhi Lemon earlier in the draft, you come back and get a defensive guy. Makes sense to me. And now, 31st overall pick, I have the Patriots going wide receiver Denzel Boston out of Washington. Now, I just think that Drake May needs some big 1,000-yard wide receivers. Denzel Boston, tall, great hands, shades of Mike Evans, personally. Now, we'll see if the A.J. Brown rumors are true. Now Schefter is saying that it is going to happen, but not until after June 1st. I don't know what's going on there. But I think even then, it would help to bring in somebody else. Because right now, you have Kayshon Boutte, who's pretty good. And then you trade for Romeo Dobbs. Well, not trade. You just bring in Romeo Dobbs and Mac Hollins. It's not bad, but I think you could just do a lot better. And bringing in Denzel Boston, it's great value there at 31. And then finally, with the 32nd pick, closing out the first round of the draft, I have the Seahawks taking corner Avian Terrell out of Clemson. You lose Tariq Woolen in the offseason, and you're left with some great guys like Nick Emenwari and Devon Weatherspoon. But outside of that, you have Josh Jobe, who's pretty good. But I think it could really help to bring in at least some corner depth. Again, Seahawks really didn't do a thing in the offseason. So, again, you'd really just take a depth piece, some guy that's maybe slipped for a long time, and I think that Avian Terrell could be that guy. So, there you have it. That is my first round mock draft. We're going to get it in right before the draft, and coming up, I'll have Elias coming over to the crib. We're going to be doing a live reaction to the draft, and I don't know whether I'll stream it or I'll just post it after I've recorded it. I'll probably just post it after I've recorded it because no one here is going to watch a live stream. So thank you everybody for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you on draft night. Take care.